Module 2, E-commerce. The only fence against the world is a thorough knowledge of it, John Locke. Knowledge is power, and when we enter 2.0 business, we should master all the tools that technology gives us to be better than the competition. Technological concepts that are associated with electronic commerce are one of the most complex parts of companies when it comes to adapting to the digital world. However, companies need to know the language they use, file transfer systems, and how data is structured to take advantage of e-commerce and to join this technological model as efficiently as possible. This chapter will review all the aspects that a company must become familiar with to adapt to the new technologies. Internet service provider. The first element we should consider when launching our online business is having access to the internet. To get access to the internet, the first thing we need to do is to contact an internet service provider. This is the term used to refer to those companies, commercial organizations, or entities that provide internet access services. And the access services can be supplied through different options: phone line, DSL, connection cable, wireless, network, and satellite. Each of them has its own characteristics as well as advantages and disadvantages that when choosing one, we must compare the conditions and prices offered by the different ISP companies. Some of the criteria that we must consider when choosing an ISP and that will help us are coverage. Some ISPs offer services with local, national, and international coverage. Bandwidth refers to the full speed offered by the ISP. The bandwidth assigned to each client must be higher than its transmission capacity to provide good quality. And price. Each ISP has a different price that depends on aspects such as the company that offers it and the conditions of the package. Access refers to the access time. Now it is always unlimited, but some ISPs may offer packages that limit the connection time, which means that it cannot exceed a certain number of hours per month. Technical service. Some internet service providers offer technical support in their packages of very important aspects if there are problems or incidents. Large communication companies such as Telefonica in Spain offer these services, but there are increasing competition and consequently lower costs. Internet service providers offer different services to their end users, such as connection, depending on the needs of the company, different types of connection. ADSL, RSDI, and so on and so on, modems, cable, satellite, wireless, and 4G technologies. Websites. ISPs provide the possibility to build websites, registering the data with the company and granting a domain on the internet. Email addresses to communicate with users and send formations, files, and any other type of data are created. Payment systems provided by SSL, payment services that protect against possible electronic fraud and also protect the information exchange between browsers and servers. Shopping cart is the most common application when shopping online, and it displays the articles, payment method, and the details of the sale. Regarding internet service providers, a virtual private service should also be considered. Virtual private server, VPS, is a virtual machine that usually hosts a website. The user perceives it as a private server even though it is installed on physically a computer running multiple operating systems. The concept of the virtual private server can be better explained as a virtual machine that caters to the individual needs of a user, just as a separate physical computer that is dedicated to a particular user. The virtual dedicated server provides the same functionality and privacy as that of a normal physical computer. A number of virtual private servers can be installed on a single physical server, with each one running its own operating system. The main advantages of a virtual private server include the low cost due to its virtual nature. This service does not require manual intervention by the hosting company, so its cost is lower than the cost of a dedicated physical server. These servers also use the available space and power resources more efficiently. And it's scalable. Scalability: if the user needs more RAM, CPU, or disk space, private servers allow their configuration on the fly. They do not need to disconnect the service to undertake such a task. Control: the user has control of the server so that they can make all the necessary modifications to achieve a better optimization. Flexibility: the user is free to choose the operating system and the software that they want to install on the server. It also allows them to customize their services based on their needs. Resources: the private virtual server has a large amount of RAM, CPU, and disk drive at any time. Faster implementation: the hardware installations in the rack is really fast. This allows the user to use the system almost immediately. There is no need to wait. More resistant: in the event of failure, the resistance of the private virtual server can be guaranteed from the beginning as long as the server has been configured in the cloud, where the data is stored virtually through several physical servers. This means that a major failure in the server will not cause the loss of data or a period of disconnection. 2.2 The structures of the network. The internet is also called cyberspace, or a network of networks, due to its structural relationships, which are extremely complex and can offer endless possibilities at lightning speed. There are different transfer systems, and depending on the design and structure, the following types of networks can be classified. Telephone networks: reduced speed networks used in business and domestic environments. A modem, either external or internal, is used to access the internet. It allows networking several computers through a network switch. A router can also be used to establish connection from different local networks. Optical fiber offers faster, more reliable, more direct and stable connection, yet is reliable, than the basic telephone network. The cost of the user is higher, since it needs a special network card for an optical fiber connection, which is essential for the computer to be able to connect. However, manufacturing costs compared to traditional wiring are lower. It allows for several PCs at the same time by using a switch. There are telecommunications technologies such as FTTH, fiber to the home, that promote the implementation of optic fiber, which is becoming increasingly popular in the world. Satellite and radio services networks have broader scope and higher speed than other networks. They work by orienting the satellite dish to a specific satellite. Not only are they characterized by their speed, but also because they work in rural areas where communications are difficult to access by conventional cable. And of course, late breaking notes, Starlink and Elon Musk is on the way to getting that happening in rural areas. News systems. WAP, Wireless Application Protocol, is one of the most powerful services since it uses mobile telephony and wireless communications to access the internet. PLC, Powerline Communications. It's one of the most innovative. It transforms the electrical network into high-speed digital line for data transmission. Internal structures. There are different types of communication devices such as routers, modems, and switchers that connect to the computer and enhance internal communications and optimization of the company's resources. Intranet is the computer network that shares information within the same company or associations and is connected by separate local network routers. Telnet, Telecommunications Network, is a protocol that allows a user to remotely use the resources of another PC and have direct access to all its contents and solve problems remotely. SSH, or Secure Shell, has a model similar to Telnet, but it has an encrypted channel that ensures greater security. Now we come to information and content. There's a large amount of information of different types of the internet. In order to get the most out of each type of content, it is convenient to use appropriate software for each type of information. In the traditional commerce, there is a warehouse where the product is stored and sent to an end user through a carrier. Patterns followed by the online process are similar. In this case, the product can be the content itself, which is stored on a server and is distributed through the network to its end users. The World Wide Web is a great communication system for text, graphs, graphics, and multimedia objects accessible on the internet and stored on servers. Sometimes we talk about the internet and the web as if it were the same thing, when in fact they are not. The www is a subset within the internet that consists of websites accessed through a browser. So services like email, FTP, and online games are part of the internet, but they're not www. The basic concepts of the World Wide Web should be known are as follows. The URL, Uniform Resource Locator. The address of the resource on the internet. An URL indicates the location of a resource as well as the protocol used to access it. HTML, hypertext markup language, text-based approach to describing how content contained within the HTML file is structured. This markup tells a web browser how to display the text, images, and other forms of multimedia on the website. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP is the protocol used to transfer data over the web. It is part of the Internet Protocol Suite and defines commands and services used for transmitting website data. Hosting, the business of housing, serving, and maintaining files for one or more websites. ISPs provide this service. Transmission of content. The internet offers many possibilities to transmit the information, whether through text, images, video, or audio. One of the most popular tools used to exchange is email, which plays a very important role in e-commerce, as information can be sent and attachments can be added. Email accounts are personal, and usernames and passwords are necessary to access them in order to ensure their confidentiality. Mail servers allow us to send emails, and users use their accounts to store all their personal messages. To access email accounts, specific programs such as Outlook or Gmail are necessary, and we must access our personal account from our mobile phone or PC. We can also access webmails, free services with the web interface through which we can access our emails. We can access them from any device that allows us to surf the net. Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, or AOL, I don't know if that one still exists, Mail are the most popular. 2.3.2, tools for the exchange of information. There are many services for the exchange of information that are adapted to the commercial purposes and the needs of the company. They are classified according to the type of business, the type of communication, and the information. The following types of services can be highlighted. Newsgroups. A newsgroup is an online discussion forum accessible through Usenet. Each newsgroup contains discussions about a specific topic indicated in the newsgroup's name. You can browse newsgroups and post or reply to topics using a newsreader program. Access to newsgroups also requires a Usenet subscription. Mailing lists, a list of names and addresses used by an individual or an organization to send material to multiple recipients. Mailing lists have become a popular way for internet users to keep up with topics they are interested in. Many software producers and other vendors are now using them as a way of keeping in touch with customers. The service is similar to newsgroups, but it allows us to be more selective with the members of the group, so the information can be more direct or specific. Chat refers to the instant communication between two or more users through the internet. These conversations can be public or private and can be in writing, audio, or video. They also allow users to exchange files. Phone. Use of conventional telephony services is one of the most convenient and direct ways to establish business relationships. Audio conference, a conference in which people at different locations speak to each other via telephone or internet connection. It allows eliminating the space and time barriers thanks to easy access technology and great coverage. Its use has become popular thanks to programs such as Skype. Video conference, a conference in which participants in different locations are able to communicate with each other in sound and vision. File transfer protocol. One of the most popular methods of download files is FTP. It is a standard network protocol used to transfer computer files between clients and servers on a computer network. One of its main advantages is its large storage. We do not need hard disks or CDs since we can use the network to store material. Companies often use the system to exchange files. They use the most secure, in which has a password. They use the most secure mode, which has a password to access the data to ensure the privacy of the content. Although the download files are not exclusive to FTP, it is also possible through the web. This service can be considered one of the most complete services in data transmission. Unlike the web, we must start the address with FTP instead of www to access the NFTP. Then we come to value chain. The technical aspects of the internet were discussed at the beginning, but now it is time to understand the stages necessary to obtain a product. To succeed in this laborious process, none of the stages can be neglected, and each step should be turned into a goal that gives us competitive advantage over the competition. The last section will deal with the value chain. Michael Porter first introduced this concept in his book, Competitive Advantage, Creating and Sustaining Superior Performance. All the way back in 1985, Porter's value chain concept says that there is a chain of events that occur in a company right from the procurement of raw materials to the delivery of goods, as well as the post-sales service. This chain is made up of 9 steps, and the process can be changed at any time. The 9 steps to add further value to the product. The analysis of the value chain allows us to take full advantage of the production process, as well as the operation of the company, and the stages that add value to the product can be seen in detail. In this way, cost reductions and optimization of resources can achieve the company's objective, and it can be assessed. The supply chain is a concept linked to the value chain that should be mentioned. In this case, all the necessary processes from the raw materials to the final product are involved. Although there is some of these processes, such as the storage or transmission, the value does not increase. In the new area of electronic communications and commerce, the main method to add value to a product involves reducing costs to ensure competitive price. The main task is choosing good retailers, transporters, distributors, suppliers, and manufacturers who manage both the value chain and the supply chain as well. In conclusion, it can be said that a value chain is effective if the development of the resources is constant. In addition, it does not increase the price, but increases the profit margin between production and sales. Several concepts must be taken into account for the value chain to be effective. First, an extensive analysis of the demand for the product and behavior of its target audience should be carried out. Secondly, the supply chain should be planned, and most appropriate ways to use the resources should be found. The internet value chain. The value chain is not a model especially developed on the network, but it is considered a very important process to increase the potential of a company on the internet thanks to e-commerce. Computer developments allow companies to optimize their work systems, integrating all the agencies involved in the value chain. If we compare the management of a traditional business model, whether it is selling t-shirts or bus tickets, we realize that advertising is limited to the press and the media. In addition to these methods, electronic commerce also allows us to reach our public through websites, social media, and banners. If the product is sold, e-commerce also allows choosing the seat or the shirt model, comfortably avoiding boring queues and travel. Electronic commerce it has reduced the supply chain and has led to disintermediation. The number of intermediaries has been reduced to a large extent thanks to the possibility offered by the network. And the websites, applications, and other network services have provided consumers with a large number of offers. They also compare different alternatives in a fast and convenient way. Compared to the supply chain of a traditional business and e-commerce, both the number of intermediaries and distributors or retailers sharply reduced since the manufacturer or distributor sells to the final customer. Re-intermediation is an interesting concept that cannot be ignored. New technologies cause new intermediaries to appear. They have the role of the former suppliers to facilitate the business of the company. Second-hand sale portals are a good example since they are new intermediaries between buyers and sellers, even though they do not have a product or a warehouse. The power of information management plays a crucial role when selling a service via e-commerce. Our website must be clear, concise, and up-to-date regularly if we want our product to be competitive and to overcome the disadvantage of online presence and online transactions. The objective is to achieve an effective value chain, and the processing of information is fundamental phase to add value to the product. There must be a permanent and updated flow of information in the highest security level for users must be ensured. Quality structure and contents must be provided, and user navigation must be easy so that they have a positive experience. There are different possibilities for the exchange of information through the internet, social media, as mentioned before, Facebook, Twitter, etc., websites, email, electronic data exchange to exchange business documents in a standard electronic format between business partners. Extensible markup language. XML is a markup language that defines a set of rules for encoding documents in a format that is both human readable and machine readable. File transfer protocol, it is transfer and download files. For the successful e-commerce model, in terms of distribution and manufacturing, the supply chain must be improved. Fast and cheap communications are essential, as well as perfect interaction between companies and users. Direct access to information is important in the electronic supply chain, and influences such aspects as reduction of intermediary costs, better reactions to demand, reduction in delivery time, inventory reduction, better customer service, reduction in bureaucratic procedures. As previously seen, a good analysis and effective organization of supply chain results in an optimization of the resources and the advantages and benefits to the company.